Sarah Wilson.
Mario Cortes.
John Wailin.
Conflict growing under the sun.
The Farm Workers Movement.
Never before in U.S. history has there been a time like the 1960s. The economy was bustling. The Beatles rocked America. Women became liberated, schools were integrated, and man walked on the moon. It was an era of free love, of Woodstock, of hippies, and of flower children.
The 1960s was also an era of violence. The world came to the brink of nuclear disaster with the Cuban Missile Crisis. Race riots swept America's inner cities. The Vietnam War tore the country apart. And an American president was assassinated.
But none of that seemed to affect California's Central Valley. We were removed from it. Everything here was quiet, calm, peaceful, until...
Huelga! Huelga! Huelga!
Huelga! Huelga! Huelga!
Amigos, join the strike, the huelga. Stand up to the farmers. You need better treatment. You deserve better pay. Walk out of the fields. Together, our huelga will bring a better life to all farm workers. Join our movement, our revolution. Join the huelga. Huelga! Huelga!
My father was a bracero, a farm worker brought here from Mexico to work the fields. The U.S. needed our labor, then sent us back after the harvest. Papa has always been a farm worker. That is what I am. That is all I know. But I don't want this life for my children. A union is a good idea. We should follow this man, this Cesar Chavez. Pero mi papa tells me a union is a bad idea. We will lose our jobs or be forced to join the union and pay dues. We have all we need, he says. Family, food, shelter. Why do we need a union?
I never expected anything like this on my farm. I mean, here at Terrapin Farms, everything was peaceful. Then Cesar Chavez came and started telling me how I should run my farm. He organized a union, called it the United Farm Workers, and pressured my employees to join in the strike. I have 1,000 employees at Terrapin Farms who have demonstrated that they do not want a union by the very fact that they have stayed on the job, despite loud and threatening words from a few picketers. We treat our workers fairly and pay them more than state and federal minimum wage standards, plus we pay a piece rate on top of that. My employees do not want to jeopardize their jobs or wages for the sake of a union they don't need.
Growers don't care about us, only profits. In the fields, we have no clean water, no toilets. We don't get paid for what we do and can barely feed our families. That is why mi madre and mis hermanos must work the fields too, just to eat. All day, stooped over rows of crops, the summer heat, no shade. It is a horrible way to live. The union will fix that. Cesar Chavez and the UFW are the farm workers' hope for a better future.
You cannot possibly hope to feed, clothe, and shelter your families with what you make in the fields. That is why our children must work instead of going to school. This must stop. Other people don't know what it is like to be uprooted from your home 20 times a year, with no future. Nothing but this awful existence. They cannot understand what we are going through. They are nothing like us.
My grandfather immigrated here from Croatia in 1912 with his two brothers. They had nothing. They worked in a small San Francisco restaurant for more than 3 years, saving all their money just to buy a small plot of barren land near Delano. At first, they had no employees, but through their blood, sweat, and tears, they developed this farm. We know back-breaking work. We know what it is like to immigrate to a new country and start a new life.
My brother works at Terrapin Farms. He says no one should be forced to join the union and pay dues. And why, he asks, do the union people call our home and threaten us if we do not join?
Hello, Bishop Mahoney. Gabby Sanchez with the UFW. Bishop, I'll come right to the point. Thousands of farm workers are being exploited. They live in squalor and are worked to an early grave, only to line the pockets of the wealthy. This is intolerable, and the church must save them. The church must take a stand. It must side with the movement. Yet local parish priests are being pressured by the growers to ignore the plight of the farm worker. This is unacceptable.
Yes, Steve Donovich calling for Monsignor Dillon, please. Hello, Monsignor. Now, I know you've been approached by many in our community to support the United Farm Workers Union, but I and many others believe that this would be wrong. You would be passing judgment on the growers unfairly. This is not what the Bible teaches.
I understand, Bishop, but the Bible tells us that we should reach out to the poor and destitute. Shouldn't the church help God's children who are suffering?
Monsignor, the church exists to provide spiritual guidance for its parishioners, not to become embroiled in the organization of unions. Yes, Monsignor, I understand that the farm workers are members of the church, but so are the growers.
Bishop, our people are marching 300 miles from Delano to Sacramento to bring attention to La Causa. Will you please support us in our hour of need? Thank you, Bishop. Goodbye.
Monsignor, you're right, absolutely right. Taking the side of the farm worker would divide this community, and supporting this march to Sacramento would have terrible consequences. Thank you for your time, Monsignor. Goodbye.
In our homes, we have no heat, no cooling, no running water. Our children come home to empty houses because both parents must work the fields just to feed their families. Many young children don't go to school because they work the fields to help make money. It is a horrible way to live. Migrant workers have no place to call home. We move from crop to crop, uprooting our families at harvest time. Nothing will change unless we have someone powerful to help us, someone like Cesar.
We have done it, my friends. We have marched to Sacramento and demonstrated our resolve. We started in Delano with only a handful of marchers and have grown to over 4,000 strong, all sympathetic to La Causa. Some young, some old, some white, some brown. We have come together and made this huelga a true revolution. We have achieved our first contract with Shenley Farms. We will win. We will succeed because ours is a revolution of mind and spirit. We will strike. We will boycott. We will expand, and we will conquer. To the governor and the legislature of California, to the people, we say, you cannot close your eyes and ears to our problems any longer. You cannot pretend that we do not exist. You cannot plead ignorance to our needs because we are here.